All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join me today and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. My name is Carlos Garcia again. Welcome to G.A.R Capital. I don't know why I repeated myself. Excuse me. It is too early. I have my coffee ready to rock. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo, turn on a notification. You click on that, turn on notification, subscribe to our channel. Please press like if you like these videos, put that thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. It helps the algorithms for YouTube. You know how that goes. And comment any of your questions on the chat here, on the chat window, and also on the YouTube channel. We're here to help in any way we can. Let's do it. Dow Jones is up 84 points pre-market. NASDAQ is down about 0.18%, and the S&P is basically flat with the Russell basically flat. Crude oil, again, starting to fall a little bit. We're kind of rejecting slightly, down 1.4% on crude oil futures. Gasoline futures are down 1.62%, $2.64. Gold is up 18.24. I do have some GLD calls that I talked about yesterday. I just kicked my plug here. Sorry about that. Take a look at futures. It's basically flat as well. Euro dollar down 33 pips, 114.07, and the dollar yen is up 36 pips, 115.44. The dollar is up 0.28%, 95.66. The 10-year Treasury yield 1.956%. We'll take a look at that. Also, the VIX is down 22.78, down 0.35%. Taking a look at cryptocurrency. Let's take a look at Bitcoin together. Bitcoin is at $43,595. We hit a overnight high at 1 in the morning at 45,492. So nice to see Bitcoin starting to get a little love. Again, we're watching that very closely. No, we didn't sell anything. All we did was just buy as we did. Same old every week. Buy a little here, buy a little there. Okay, so let's take a look at some headlines this morning. Biggest headlines today. Let's go over it here. We have Snapchat announces offering of a $1.25 billion in convertible unsecured notes. Those are bonds just to borrow. Let's see here. We also had Pfizer report earnings. Let me get that Pfizer report. $1.08 of EPS versus 85-cent EPS. 23.8 billion versus 23.9 billion. So a miss on revenues. Their guidance was 98 to 102 billion versus 108.6 billion guidance. They raised their fiscal year 22 revenue guidance in terms of the for the vaccine, 32 billion prior to 29 billion guides. Fiscal year 2022, Paxlovid antiviral pill, $22 billion. Never heard, I don't know what that Paxlovid is. But again, Pfizer did report. I'll take a look exactly where they are pre-market. Let's take a look at them here. Pfizer is down after pre-market, down to 51.22. More than likely it was probably due to that weaker guidance, weaker than expected guidance. Coty, C-O-T-Y, I've never heard of this name, Coty. Well, I've heard of it, but I've never traded. $1.58, 1.58 billion versus 1.61 billion on earnings. They did beat on EPS, 17 cents versus 12 cents. Raises the fiscal year 2022 guidance, 22 cents to 26 cents versus the 23-cent estimate. So let's go and take a look at Coty. And Coty is up slightly pre-market to $8.94 from $8.58. Peloton confirms Barry McCarthy, the CEO, effective February 9th. He will step down. Peloton actually confirms Barry McCarthy as CEO effective February 9th. Peloton co-founder John Foley will become executive chair. So Peloton, some other ones here, reportedly CEO John Foley was said to be stepping down, but to remain Peloton as exec chair. To name Barry McCarthy, former Spotify CEO, as CEO. CFO to become CEO. Plans to cut 20% of jobs in U.S. In the United States. That's Peloton. Let me see if I can get their earnings exactly here. I had it here. Peloton reports a negative $1.39 versus a negative $1.18 estimate on EPS. $1.13 billion in revenue versus $1.14 billion in revenue. Confirms reorganization plan to meaningfully reduce workforce. Guidance 950 million to 1 billion versus 1.14 billion. And again, that's just a miss across the board, including fiscal year guidance, EBITDA, the whole nine. Just way more than expected, or way worse than expected. So here we are. Let's take a look at Peloton. Remember, they were up yesterday. Now they're up again pre-market. So they closed at 29.75. So the reorganization plan, I guess people are starting to kind of warm up to Peloton. Kind of the tale of two cities as well. We kind of talked about that with Amazon and Facebook. Now Meta, Peloton being the big winner of COVID during the COVID lockdowns. Pfizer being the winner post-COVID lockdown in terms of their EPS. Not exactly the stock, but again, Pfizer has been doing pretty well over the year. You can see here in the 2-year, it's been doing pretty well again. Starting last year, 2 years ago, 35 to 53, where Peloton came from 17.7 to 171, pretty much a 10x gain now to around $30 a share. So again, I do like Peloton in terms of the bike. I think the bike is cool, but the stock I've never really liked. And I always looked at it as maybe there's an opportunity to buy some, but again, in the middle of a reorganization, I would just kind of stay away, that sort of thing. Let's see if the dust settles. Speaking of letting see the dust settle, Facebook continues to go down. You could see now at 222 a share. I did buy the dip, but not yesterday, last week. So it did break that 200-day weekly. So again, where's the next level to go to? Really, the next level is right around 208. So what you can do is place an alert at 208.90. But right here, again, I had some unusual options activity on it, and it looks like it's just going to tank. So I'm going to have to just close it out for the most part. Just ugly price action on Meta, basically the most hated company right now in America for the most part. I don't know what company is more hated now than Metaverse and Facebook. Now that Peter Thiel's gone, Peter Thiel left Facebook's board, and he didn't have some nice comments about Facebook, saying he's happier that he's away from it. So not the best kind of commentary you want after leaving a company. Let's go ahead and take a look here at what's next. Let's see some pre-market movers. Take a look at some pre-market quotes here, and then we'll take a look at some questions here. Peloton up 2.79% pre-market. Snapchat, we talked about that. They had some convertible notes. They're down 3.72%. Remember, they were up nearly 60% just after their earnings on Friday. Meta's down 1.29%. Take a look at the Dow. Apple's flat. JP Morgan is up 0.1% due to yields climbing higher. Boeing up 0.51%. I have calls on that, and of course shares. Visa's down 0.51%. On the S&P, Ford Motor Company down 1%. Bank of America again up 1.13%. Those are the banks. GM was a downgrade, I believe, by Morgan Stanley. They're down 3.79%. PayPal showing some green. Tesla showing some slight green. And AMD's down 0.40%. And NVIDIA is down because their ARM deal fell through. They're down 1.14%. They were actually a lot worse overnight. So that's where we are this morning. Let's take a look here real quickly at 10-year yields. And you can see 1957 is my resistance on the daily. If we go ahead and expand it out for a 2-year period, let's see if I can do that. This is a daily. You can see 1957 is your next resistance. Let's see if we break that. Next above will be 2208. So again, yields are rising ahead of the Fed raising rates, with the expectation being in March. But what does that mean for the overall market? Again, keep an eye on the banks. The banks are going to be the first ones to take benefit of that. And you can see Goldman Sachs, I do have an alert right at 372. Let's see if we break that. I will take a look at the 380s or the 390 calls on Goldman Sachs. If we take a look at JPM, JPM needs to get above 158.29. If you're taking a look at Bank of America right around 49, 45 could be interesting. Maybe the 50 calls, 51 calls for a quick gainer if you're looking for some bank plays there. Let's take a look at Citi together. Citi, again, 67.39 is my alert, and we'll take a look at Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley is actually nearing breakout. So again, 106.70 here. Again, you're seeing it. The banks are kind of being the beneficiary, and we talked about banks being that beneficiary with higher yields. So again, let's keep an eye on Morgan Stanley. Let's keep an eye on Goldman Sachs, JPM, and Citibank for some opportunities out there. But other than that, guys, look, S&P futures are basically flat. Yeah, the Nasdaq's down about a quarter point, but nothing really wild, and the Dow is actually green. So pretty quiet. Again, we did have some revisions on CPI in December, which is inflationary reading. That was actually higher on the revised note from 0.5 to 0.6. So again, Thursday is the CPI number for January. So let's see what we get. That's on Thursday. Mind you, not Wednesday, Thursday. Let's answer some questions here. John Lee says, morning calls. Thanks for doing this every day. You're welcome. Thoughts on NEO 25 calls this week? Gap fill. Let's take a look at it. So let me go ahead and expand the actual chart here to make life easy. Looking at NEO here, again, word was that the Chinese were going to go ahead and buy stocks, again, to kind of prop up the market. There is a gap fill at 27. Would I play that right now? No, I would probably wait for that 25 level to do that. If you're looking more of a short term, like you're saying the 25s, I don't see the gap to fill on 25s. I see at 27. That's probably more what you're looking at. XOM 80 puts. It'd be tough to bet against oil because even as oil is down, crude oil, the oil refiners are up. That was yesterday. I noted that on Twitter. So keep an eye, if anything, more upside for energy companies, not necessarily oil, but we're starting to hit that resistance soon. Keep in mind that $100 a barrel oil, you can see right around 90 something, we're kind of running out of gas, no pun intended. That is the next big short, in my opinion, is crude oil and energy stocks. Be prepared to start taking some profits on some energy names that have been extended. Again, you're talking about a 7-week win streak, has been outperforming every single sector in the S&P last year. Again, those kind of big moves usually are not sustainable. So again, maybe look for a little bit of volatility on oil prices and energy companies. What indicator are you using to view price action going on? Usually moving averages is the main thing I look at. The 50, the 100, and the 200. Let's see here. Is it possible for Apple to hit 150 at some point this year, my reload point? Yeah, you may get an opportunity to get to 150, but again, very difficult as Apple had a really monster quarter. I think the lowest you'll probably get to is around 160. I think 160 is a great place to actually buy some more shares. 150, I don't think you'll get there, to be honest with you. If ES drops under 4,400, may drop to 4,400. Definitely need to hold that and get to the hump of 4,500. I'm not sure exactly your question, but yes, there is some key levels here. We'll take a look at it here on the daily. Really, your key level here is 44.20. 44.20, that's the big level here. We're holding about 52 points above that. So again, you can see a little bit of a slide the last 5 sessions on ES. But again, 44.20 is my level. That'll be right below the 61.8 fib. Again, from top to bottom, from the lowest wick of 42.14. But again, I'm still of the camp that the worst is over. That's basically all it is. Again, Bitcoin is telling you a big story. There is some risk on environment out there. Let's see here. Hi, man. Calls for SPY. Thanks. And the indices I would stay away from because there's not much opportunity out there. There's not much out there for indices. Again, SPYs and the Qs. Again, there's a lot more opportunities in the single stocks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley's, the Cities, and the Bank of America's. They have a little more opportunity than just the indices. So I kind of would stay away from SPY for the time being. There's just really nothing there, to be honest. Carmen says, hey, Carlos, good morning. Would you continue to be bullish on BABA? Curious on your thoughts. I love BABA long term. So again, I haven't bought any more. When it breaks 108.70, I will be buying more. But until then, I'm not doing anything. Again, all of this is just noise on Alibaba. Again, I'm not worried about them in terms of, this year or next. Long term, I'd rather just own my shares, be chilling, go from there. It's not a trade. I just want to own it. So again, if I wanted to have some little action with BABA, I would trade options. But the stock, it stays the same for me. I'm not doing anything with that. Facebook and NVIDIA. NVIDIA, again, with that ARM deal, kind of getting a little pressure here. But again, not much going on in terms of action. Again, maybe a break of, 255, 253, maybe for some upside. You can do the 260 calls, a break of 237.50. Then you could start taking a look at the 230s or 225s. And again, Metaverse, for the most part, Facebook, a tough one to call because it did break the major moving average on the weekly, which is the 200-day. The question is now, what is your next target? You can start taking a look at 208, but for the most part, again, it's a tough sledding here because all it takes is one damn headline and it's been oversold so much. So again, there's path of least resistance to the upside. How much more do you think Facebook can go down? Another 10, 20, 30%? That'd be a difficult one to see, especially with such a mega cap company. If this was a smaller cap company, yes, it'd be a little easier of a path to go down, like a Peloton. That makes sense. But again, such a large cap company losing this much value in such a short period of time, usually you get a quick sharp snapback, short squeeze right after. Not saying the full retracement, but at least somewhat. So just got to be careful there. Also, what do you have in the Super Bowl? I'm going for the Bengals. So again, I'll be in Colorado on Saturday. I'll be out all week next week with the wife. We're going on vacation. So again, I hopefully I can bet in Colorado. Again, I'm not a Colorado resident. I think I can, but I'm putting down the Bengals money line. Again, I'm not going to put too much money, maybe $100, but I like the Bengals to win. Go Cincinnati. They deserve to win a Super Bowl. Facebook is scandalous and toxic. I agree. Again, I said this on the video. I am not a fan of Facebook, the platform. Instagram is fine. WhatsApp is great, but Facebook, the platform, it has literally ruined what it was supposed to be. And I think that's the issue now. Again, a lot of people don't want to be in that platform. I don't blame them. I haven't used Facebook in months. Maybe actually use it consistently, I would probably say like 3 years. Maybe 3 years. I'm not a fan of Facebook. I like the stock because they make a tremendous amount of money. They're a great business. But the actual platform, not a fan. No. BABA put. Let's take a look at the hourly. Let me go and bring up Alibaba here. For puts, again, you have to break down below 113.60 if that's the case. If you're looking for Tesla puts, I got into calls as long as we stay above 900. Again, we got to see what we get in terms of Tesla. That SEC headline was right here. I got into calls right there. Literally like, oh, the worst thing. Got into calls, then the SEC headline comes out going after Elon. So imagine. But we're still in range on the hourly. Nothing has really changed. Again, just need to get above 950. Once 950 breaks, then we could see what we get. Again, we know how Tesla rolls. It's just in its own world. Volume, VOR, I don't know what that means. Costco calls. I can tell you this. Costco is not the best to trade options. It just isn't. But again, if you're looking for a little bit of resistance, it's right around 528. Got to get that break first and go from there. I own Costco shares, but the trade options, not much volume there. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. Have a great rest of your morning. We'll catch you guys for the aftermarket recap, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then. Cheers.